There's no
What?
every week. Google Hangout does something different every single week.
Why does it do it? What did it do this time?
Okay. FYI, when your kids get older, they will have Gmail accounts at their school.
Correct.
When they have Gmail accounts, there is a glitch, a whatever you want to call it, that makes them the admin for Gmail. So they become the admin for the web, for whatever browser you're using. When they become the admin, you can't log on with your Gmail account until you clear the cache. So I got that taken care of. I'm in Safari, which normally we wouldn't use. And now that we're in Safari, I had the entire system changes. And because the system changes, in terms of how you allow the preferences to work, I couldn't log into the chat until I approved all the preferences that I thought I'd already approved. Come on, technology.
Technology. Hey.
It should be getting easier, right?
I'm so glad I hit the broadcast button so I could have all of this recorded, this rant.
Where's the camera on this thing? Where's the camera? I don't see the camera.
Hi, Todd.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm tired. It's hot in Connecticut right now.
Tell me, it's hot here in Missouri. It's today it was 89, but it's really humid and kind of blah. There are kids running in my in-ground sprinkler system outside. It's so hot. They're not even willing to set up.
Wait, the stuff that they use to, you have something to water the lawn?
Yeah, and so
they're using them as a sprinkler. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not setting out a sprinkler. Number one, they're too lazy to set up their own sprinkler, so they're just running back and forth in my sprinkler because I'm letting it go off right now, which is fine. I'm okay with that. You know, my kids won't do it now. My son is sitting in a hot room upstairs with his friend, and they're playing a couple different things. They're playing Nintendo Switch, and they're playing. I think they're checking out something on Xbox. Maybe, believe it or not, it may be Dark Souls. I don't know why, but that's what they're doing.
All right,
kids
these days.
Oh, I know it.
Playing video games.
Yep. They all came over. So this is what you need, Jim, and you're going to have it someday.
Okay.
Last night during the Sony press conference, Cameron and I were watching, and his friends all work. There are 2 or 3 of them, and they all work at a retirement community, and they serve food.
I'm gonna stop you just for a second.
Okay.
You want to move the camera just a hair, because you got.
Is that better? Like that?
Your eyes were above the fold. You're
like that. Is that better? I'm having trouble. Is this what you were talking about?
A little further down. Yep.
Okay.
There you go. That's good.
So anyway.
And JJ's here. Hey, JJ. I got the chat working. It's right there.
See, I don't see anything, but as long as you see it, that's all that matters.
I'll just read it off to you so you don't have to worry about it.
Good enough. So last night they get finished with their shift, and they show up in so at this point they've taken off their white dress shirts and they just have on white t-shirts, black pants, and their black dress shoes, and they come in as fast as they can because it's like 8:10. So they've missed the first part of the crappy beginning of the PlayStation conference.
Crappy
because we couldn't hear it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry, technologically crappy. How's that?
I thought it opened pretty strong, except for the whole can't hear it properly thing.
Yeah, you're right. I was excited about what I was seeing. I couldn't hear what I was, the audio to the video portion that we were seeing. So they come barging in, and they watch with us, and that makes it even go a little more quickly because they get excited about things that you and I may not get excited about.
For example,
I mean, I get excited about Horizon. I'm really excited that there's DLC, and they're like, Horizon's fine, but they're really excited about Days Gone By. Am I saying that correctly?
Just Days Gone.
Days Gone. They're beside
Days
themselves.
Gone. Yeah, I think that's right. Days Gone.
They're beside themselves excited about
Old man can't remember things anymore.
Exactly, but they're beside themselves excited, and I am too. But something like Horizon, the fact that there's DLC for Horizon was the most exciting part of that press conference for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
I still haven't played it because I've been busy playing Persona still.
It's my game of the year so far. I mean, I love that game. I love the story. I love the main character, Aloy. I love the combat. I've talked about it before when you and I've talked. So it's and I didn't think they were going to do DLC. So I was really excited about that.
And I think it's actually on sale this week, like for like $40.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's worth buying. It is. You'll get your money's worth because it's a long game too, but you don't realize how long it is. So, but anyway,
I've put like 27 or so hours into Persona right now, and I think I'm about getting to the halfway point, maybe. I don't know. So speaking of long games, there's a lot of long games, and I know they get excited about something like Days Gone, which is cool. I mean, that game looked neat, but when I see something like God of War, I just think to myself, I'm like, that's another really long game that I'm probably going to want to play at some point. Even though, it's, I don't know. Why is everybody going open world, Todd? Why?
I think because it's easier to do now. Because you don't have to funnel people one direction or another just because you have to worry about load times and that sort of thing. When you have more, when you have the ability to load and preload parts of games, why not make it open world? Why not let people go wherever they want to go? Not that I agree with that necessarily, but that's what I think's happening. It's easier to do. It's easier to make an open world game. It's funny with those boys over at the house, all 17-year-old boys, none of them had played. Think about it. None of them had really played a God of War game. They were young enough. Yeah. So they were young enough when the first God of War games came out that I wouldn't have let Cameron really play that. He had seen the Vita version, the Vita God of War game, which I finished that. I played God of War. I played the Vita version, finished it. I played God of War 2 and finished it. And then there's a third one, right? God of War 3.
Yes, there's God of War 3.
I didn't play the first one.
This is effectively God of War 4, but they're just calling it God of War. Similar to what Nintendo's doing now. I guess they're just calling games Kirby or Yoshi or whatever, according to their
just Kirby, just like iPad. Same thing. So I played 2 and 3 and the Vita version, or the Vita game, and I didn't play the first one. So, but I'm excited about this one. And the boys were like, that looks cool. They thought it looked really interesting, but they have no point of reference.
Right. They don't know how much of a departure it is from the originals.
No. And they also don't know what it is. I mean, they don't realize that genre and the way that game kind of shifted the genre for adventure games. They don't know that. So it will be interesting to see how they react to the game once it comes out. And you and I, I'll be a blubbering idiot. Dad, we're looking out for his son. Come on, child.
You know that son's gonna die at some point in that story, right?
The cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. He's not. Don't do that to me.
He's gonna go. It's either he's gonna die or he's gonna become the villain.
Come on, both those ideas suck. If you made that game, then I wouldn't play it, and I would tell you.
Well, so you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know until it happened in the game.
And then I would be so pissed that I would take the game out, I would break it into little Blu-ray pieces, and I would mail it to you and say, "This is what you think."
Or this is the little boy. The little boy is Kratos.
What?
Yeah, that's right. That's Kratos' dad is the Kratos in the game.
What?
And the little boy is Kratos from 2. This is a prequel. That's right.
You're blowing my mind a little bit. enough that I'm giving that synopsis credence.
Like
But
why else would he be going in the woods and stuff? Like what?
yeah,
He's a god, right? He's not going to be hanging out in the woods.
true enough.
Think about it.
You know, before we get into E3 talks, I know that's going to be the bulk of what we talk about tonight. I've been playing another dad-son game, and I thought I should just mention it real quick. It came out before Christmas, but I'm so close to finishing Gears of War 4.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like I just gave a spoiler, but I think we all know that Dad's in there somewhere, right?
I think so. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
good.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I think I saw it in trailers. So anyway,
I played as for God of War 4, or yeah, God of War 4, Gears of War 4.
mhm.
I played the what is that siege mode? What the hell's the name of that mode?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Horde.
horde mode. That's the
Mhm.
original horde mode that everyone started loving, right?
Yeah.
And that's I never got into the story because, like, I don't know, Microsoft their controller. I just don't like it as much as
I wanted to play the story because I've liked all the other stories, and I heard good things about it. And so far, so good. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy where it's going. There are 5 acts. I'm on like the end of Act 4, so I'm about to start Act 5. By the next time you and I talk, I'll have finished it. So I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I jumped in and tried it. And so, but I'm close. But anyway, that's another dad-son game. Dad and son, they kind of get along about as well as any grumpy old crusty dad and the son that does what dad
war-torn dad.
Yeah, exactly. War-torn dad.
War-torn.
War-torn dad and upstart son.
And what I saw about Gears of War was like, I'd get into it and it looked too clean. Like the horde mode just looked too clean when I was playing it.
Yeah,
like it wasn't gritty.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Well, because I think that the way that they structure everything, I mean, there's so many different mechanics in the horde mode now. It's not just set your traps and set up your defenses and here we go. There's a lot more involved in setting all that up, which is fine with me. But my problem is I don't have people to play with anymore. We watched the other night. You and I were watching Microsoft about the same time, and we were joking about Sea of Thieves. And I was thinking to myself, man, that looks like a lot of fun playing a co-op game like that with friends. But I hope I have friends that I could actually play that game with. Because I don't know, I would love to try that game out, but it looks like it's a heavy co-op game, kind of like The Division is a heavy co-op game, if you want to play it that way. But I don't know anyone that I can, I think that JJ will probably play with me. I doubt that I'll be able to get you back on your Xbox. Maybe. I don't know. If I buy it for you or something.
I don't know. It doesn't have 4K, so it's probably worthless at this point. I mean,
it'll suck. Everything will look pixelated. It'll look like you're playing Minecraft in the ocean.
So, I mean, before we start talking about that, right? Oh, JJ says, name a time and a game, and I'll play whenever. So that's nice. Think you're gonna go out and buy any game that you want?
He probably has any game that I want to play anyway. So we're gonna be fine.
But before we get to Microsoft, because they weren't first this year, EA was first this year.
Okay. Oh, we're going in order.
Yeah, we might as well go in order, right? Because I mean, we only have like 40 minutes or so.
5 minutes for each press conference.
5 minutes. All right, go. What's your favorite EA game?
Oh, gosh, you're going to make me think back that far to It was Sunday. What was it? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. That was Saturday when they started doing stuff. I didn't even actually watch this press conference. I just watched the news afterwards because.
There wasn't anything in EA. They spent so much time on FIFA, and I'm just not a FIFA fan. I understand why it's so popular. I understand it's one of the biggest selling games and one of the biggest games worldwide, but I've just never been able to get into it. And the story mode for all the sports games this year sounds interesting, but again, I'm not a big Madden fan. I'm not a FIFA fan, so I
guess they do some lightweight story stuff in MLB The Show.
Okay, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, those aren't my thing, but what there's something else that they had in the press conference.
What about Need for Speed?
Need for Speed looked okay.
It looked like they're trying to bring back a little bit of Burnout in there.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
and
if they can do that, if they actually succeed where everyone else has failed with Burnout or a Burnout clones, then I'm all for it. But I mean, the storyline of Need for Speed looked interesting, but even the last one, I remember watching the press conference where the last one was announced, and I thought it looked great. And then the game came out, and everybody's like,
it's just okay.
It's a slog. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I think that games like Forza and games like the other Microsoft racing game,
Forza, yeah, again.
Well, other than Forza, the
Forza Horizon.
Yes, Horizon. I think Horizon is kind of scratching that itch for me in terms of games that are kind of open world that you can drive around in and drive different kinds of cars. Driving and running from the police is in the Need for Speed games is fun, but Horizon, this last Horizon game was awesome. And you know,
you're talking about 3?
Yes, 3. I'm kind of picky when it comes to racing games, I guess.
I bought an Xbox One with the sole purpose of that I was going to be really sucked into Horizon 2. And unfortunately, I wasn't as much as I wanted to be. It was still a good game, and then 3 came out. I said, man, I should really get this, and I never bought it. So.
It's a good game. It's better. It's a better game than 2, which I didn't see how they could make it better. And yet it's more, the world is more varied. The open world options are more varied. The rad music is more varied.
I just want to play with Hot Wheels. That's what I want to play with.
Well, and that looks cool, and I haven't gotten it, but that does look cool. So anyway, what other games?
Yeah, EA was kind of low key. They did a lot of sports stuff, but then they did that the prison breakout. What is it?
Yes.
I forget the name of it.
Brothers.
Yeah, I never played Brothers either. So people are saying that this one looks good.
It looked really good, and everything I've read about it says that it looks great, that it's incredibly ambitious, and everybody's wondering how well it will do because it's so ambitious. And that's the one where my son and his friends have been here for every press conference, which is very interesting. I almost wish I had filmed that to listen.
That sounds nice.
And that's the game, though, that they all looked at each other and said, oh, we got to play. We got to get that one and play that one together. So they all, yes, they were all excited about that one. And I was too. I thought that looked really intriguing because with the split screen and reading that, you know, it's fun to play multiplayer with somebody like you and I playing, you in Connecticut, me in Missouri, but multiplayer with 2 people in the same room with a split screen looked really intriguing, where you could see down the hall what your partner, what the other person was doing. You know, if they're fighting somebody, and then just directly right beside you, you see the other screen. I mean, that looked really good. It looked ambitious. I hope that it pans out.
Well, I wanted to play Brothers. I never played Brothers. You know, like the time game comes, everyone's talking about it, and then all of a sudden there's another game that somebody's talking about that you gotta.
Oh,
I don't have any time anymore.
Well, tell me about it. But and with some of those games, this game, Brothers, seemed to me and I remember it kind of as a true indie game. It sounded interesting, but then those big AAA titles come and barrel their way through and kind of take up the space of some of those great smaller games. And that's what I think happened with Brothers. But this game looks bigger. I mean, it looks like they've invested more time, more energy. And they have an ambitious game, so I hope that it pans out for them. I hope that it comes to fruition, because I think the idea is really cool. It's the idea of what I saw in Brothers, but on a grander scale. So who knows? You're right though. I did like that one.
But then, I think the only other thing in EA was their little tease about what was going to be at Microsoft's, and that was the new BioWare game.
Oh yes,
Anthem.
Yeah, Anthem looked really good. I can't figure out what the mechanics of it are.
It looks cool, but you know, at this point I'm so into Destiny that it like it really looked like a super pretty Destiny.
Okay.
In terms of how you play it. I mean, they had people joining up and going on and taking fights and collecting loot, and I mean it's that loop again, right? You get together with friends, you kill some stuff, and you get cool weapons. And
you pre-ordered Destiny today.
I tried to.
Oh, okay.
I did not actually. I was going to pre-order the one that comes with the first 2 expansions, and then Amazon apparently only has the base game for physical.
Okay.
And because I like what they do with the discounting pre-orders and near release games, I was like, "What? I was going to get this," and so I'd have to get it in digital format, which, you know, with Destiny, it kind of makes sense to get it digital, so it's always in the system. I don't have to, you know, if somebody wants to play, I can just get up and say, "Okay, let's play." But I didn't pre-order it yet.
But the last, so I don't remember you playing a ton of the. I guess you played a ton of the last Destiny, but not right at first, did you?
No. So I played the original Destiny at launch, and I beat it, and I wasn't too into it. And then after Rise of Iron came out, I was like, let me go back, and because I had the expansions already, I just never played them. So I went back in and I went through all that content and found a group of guys that I was playing with, and it was just I put a lot of time into that game. So
you guys have a name, like a band name, like a posse name?
It was the Age Adult Gaming Enthusiasts.
Oh, all right, that'll work.
Heartbreak Ridge is part of it.
Oh, okay.
He's actually, I think, who pointed me in their direction.
I liked playing. See, I never could find a group of people to play with. I liked playing the game. I like the co-op part of it. I don't like the multiplayer part of it, the PvP part.
Oh yeah, I know. And I think that's what kind of. So I got up to, you can get up to 400 light level in that game, and I got up to 395. Wow. And I think at 395, the easiest way for you to continue to level up is to do a lot of like the PvP stuff. And I just wasn't into that. I wanted to do like the raids and things like that. And I think they made some changes since then that would allow me to go in and do some of the older raids that I didn't do. But by the time that happened, it was like, all right, it's time to maybe go do something else and wait for Destiny 2 to come out.
Yeah, I'm going to play it. I mean, I'm going to get it, and I'll play it, and hopefully I can find a group of guys to play with, because
I can. These guys, I'm sure will be playing it, so I can give you their information.
Okay. I'll stand in the corner and run. You know, I'll be the guy running into the corner, trying to figure out why I can't. Why do I keep running into the corner?
Todd, this is a raid, Todd. You have to be coordinated and listen to what we do.
And I will. I'll do my best to listen. And I won't
jump now. Jump.
Yes. Jump to the next platform. You can do it. So yes, I'm in. Destiny 2 is one I'll for sure get.
I'm getting that on the PlayStation 4 again. I had the other one on PS4.
Yeah, that's what I did on the last one.
So before we get too long in the tooth here, we've only gone through EA, so let's go through Microsoft. And I got to tell you, Xbox One X doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't. It's not a great name. I'm going to get it. You know that.
Of course you are.
Yes. The thing is,
why? Hold on. You're going to get it. Tell me the reasons, other than you have the money and can, that actually make you want to get it.
I have always been a sucker for graphics, and I don't have a 4K television yet, but I think in the next year I will have a 4K television. I've been very picky about which one I will get, because I really want it to work with a PS4 Pro, which I already have, and the Xbox One X. And it's a challenge. I don't think a lot of people realize that they both have different software codecs for how look at UHD, or is it UHD? Yeah. So, okay, so you have 4K,
Yep.
but then you also have ultra high definition, which is a part of 4K, right? It's not a part of 4K.
I don't know how it works. I don't have a 4K TV, and I haven't looked really into getting a 4K
there
TV.
are two different parts that are important. And of course, as always, Microsoft and Xbox uses
HDR is the thing you might be talking about.
Not UHD, HDR. You're right. Microsoft and Xbox uses one kind of HDR, and of course, Sony and PlayStation have gone a different direction, and you're using another form of HDR. There are some televisions that support both kinds of HDR, but not many. And so I'm trying to I want to make sure I find a television that supports HDR for both consoles. And so that's kind of why I've been holding off.
I didn't realize that there was a difference there.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
That's annoying.
Remember back to Blu-ray and the HD DVD players that. Yeah, it's like that all over again. But so it really depends on the kind of television. Now, believe it or not, one of the few televisions that supports both versions or both kinds is Vizio, which isn't my favorite television necessarily, but
they're inexpensive though, aren't they?
Yeah. My television my 1080p television is a Vizio, and I've had it for 5 years, and it's worked just fine. But it's not 4K, and so at some point I will get a 4K television. I have DirecTV, and so I have 4K right now. I have a smaller 4K television, and when you watch something like Planet Earth 2 in 4K, pretty incredible. So at some point I'll do it, but I'm not quite there yet. That's one of the reasons why I'll probably get an Xbox One S or One X, is because I'm excited about how things will look. And the power that it's going to have, but I can.
But the power. So this is where I think the leap of logic is rough, because they keep on saying how they've got the most powerful console ever created, and which may be true. It's a computer that goes and attaches to your TV, and it's got really cool stuff, really cool hardware, but their strategy is to make sure everything plays on the box. So the games that you have now for Xbox One will play on the Xbox One X. They're not separate platforms. Games will be enhanced to use that stuff, probably, but it's the same strategy that Sony is using now, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know.
It's a fine strategy, because it is kind of a niche market where not everybody has a 4K TV.
Yeah.
As both of us prove. But
there have been some things. So
what's the point? What's the point of having all that hardware if you're not going to develop something that's exclusively for that? Like they have to have something. I'm saying at least in a year out, they're going to have to start like saying, all right, this game doesn't actually work on the Xbox One anymore. It has to work on specifically the X. Kind of like you can't play Super Nintendo Virtual Console games. You can't play those on the old 3DS, Todd. Not powerful enough.
But I think, and I agree with you, but I think they're putting themselves into a corner if they try to do that, because everybody's going to say, wait a second, this isn't a new console. You told me at the beginning this wasn't a new console, so it should play on Xbox One X, S, and X.
Yeah,
and it won't do that. So what they're really going to have to do is.
So what's the point? What's the point? Just the enhancements?
I think you're going to see a lot more. I think what they're doing is they're taking a cue from phone companies, and you're going to see these small micro, little incremental changes from year to year, because that's what's going to sell the hardware. Because it's sold the hardware with headphones. It sells the hardware with phones. It sells the hardware with computers. So their assumption is it's going to sell the hardware with consoles too, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen.
Too bad they didn't just make a modular console and allow you to swap out the pieces.
You're right. And maybe that's coming. Maybe that will be the next challenge that either Sony tries to face or or Xbox tries to overcome, but I don't think they will. I don't know if that's in their best interest, because then what will happen is you'll see a lot of third parties trying to come out with pieces that say, hey, this works in your Xbox too. You'll try to slide it in, and it will maybe mess with the fidelity of what they've created. So then they find themselves in a even worse position, because everybody's, oh, the Xbox sucks when I put that piece in. Well, they never said they supported it. It goes back to the controllers.
Yeah, it's a nice unified plan. I mean, that's why a console has always been something of interest, even to like a PC gamer like myself.
And that's why I love consoles, is because
just a box. It's a box. You put a game in, and it's supposed to work right there.
I just want to play the games, and I don't. That's why I haven't gotten a new PC in probably 4 or 5 years. I've been playing console games almost exclusively. I play some games on my Mac, but rarely. If there's a game on the Mac that works, I'll try it out. But mostly it's console games now for me, because I like the games. I don't like playing the game to play the games.
Yeah,
about that.
That's like, I think one of the first things you've ever said to me when we did a show together is the game within the game.
Yeah, and that's what happens now. It's gotten a lot better since you and I started playing games. I mean, PCs, there's a lot more standardization there. But it's funny, because even now with the updates that come when you first put your game in a console, you're now all of a sudden I'm playing the game within a game a little bit, because I have a 2 gig update that I have to do before I ever get to play.
Hey guys, I'm gonna come play some Destiny with you. Yeah. All right, give me a couple hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and install it tonight at midnight. I'll be able to play tomorrow night about 10.
I feel like it's been like a month since I talked to you last, but I feel like I might have said this before, but when I put Persona 5 into my PlayStation for the first time, it just played. There was nothing to do. It just went, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's the way it should be. But a lot of, like, Destiny's not that way. I mean, there's a huge update for Destiny the first time that you put that in. There was an update for Horizon when I put that in. There was a huge update for Gears of War 4 the other day.
There's an update for Legend of Zelda. Come on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even Nintendo's in on that game. So, but that
AJ says that he's planning on building a new PC this year and upgrading to a PS4 Pro. Xbox One S is just fine.
Okay, well, and I think Xbox One S will be just fine for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I
don't even have an S. I've got one of the I've got the advanced Infinite Warfare advanced one of the Call of Duty ones that had the cool gray and neat sounds that it makes when you hit the buttons.
And that's all that matters.
It is. I like the sounds, but you can turn them off actually.
Don't never turn your sounds off. But I'll get an X, so I'll be the one that you can all make fun of, or I'll tell you it was worth it. I don't know, probably not, but it goes back to VR, PSVR. Was it worth it?
Sony looks like they're. This is jumping ahead to yesterday, but Sony's VR stuff, they seem to be going. It looks like they've got full real games instead of just like tech demos now.
I think they have to. I mean, if they don't, they're actually hurting themselves. Farpoint is a real game, and it's got the real controller. That controller, actually, there are about 4 or 5 games that are coming out this year alone that work with that controller. And do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So Farpoint is like a first-person VR game. They have this controller. It looks like a piece of plastic in the shape of a V. It looks like it has the one move controller on the end. But
is it the thing that kind of looks like a gun?
Yeah, well, as much of a gun as it can look like. Yeah, so it's got a trigger and all that. That game, you can't find that controller with that game anywhere now. You can't find the controller right now either. I mean, hopefully they'll make more at some point. If you want to buy one, it's usually like $150. You could have bought the controller. No, but that's people just trying to rip you off. You could have bought the controller in the game if you had pre-ordered or found it at Best Buy or where at GameStop, wherever, for about $60. But now you can't find it at all. So that controller is going to control several of the games that Sony announced yesterday, as well as 2 or 3 games that are already in the pipeline and coming out here this summer. So that's going to work with. I bet it works with. Is it Doom VR? It's one of the options.
Yep. I'm interested to see if like games like Doom VR, like what is it, Fallout 4 VR, like even Skyrim VR, right? Like, are those actual full games with VR?
Yeah, you're right.
Or are they just some sort of, because I read, I didn't read the text on all, like the PR speak on all of them, but it sounded like Skyrim, it may be having a lot of stuff, but it still seemed like they were trying to say it's not quite Skyrim, but it is Skyrim.
I can see that, because VR experiences, about 8 hours is about all you need for a VR experience. 8 to 10 maybe. I'm sure there are people out there that would love a 20-30 hour VR experience, but I think that the Resident Evil, for instance, is just about long enough, and until you get your VR legs under you. So I don't know. I think that Skyrim game isn't going to be a full out Skyrim game the way a lot of people are hoping it will be. I don't think Fallout 4 will even come out for PSVR. And if it does, it'll be a long time, because there's no love lost there between the Fallout folks and PSVR. In fact, right now that game is coming out only for the Vive, I think, and I think Skyrim's only coming out for PSVR. So, who knows?
So yeah, their big deal is the Oculus issues, right?
Yes. Yeah. Some sewage. Is that the way?
I like how you did that. It's sewage.
I don't know. Something like that.
I think one of Microsoft's biggest things, the smartest things that they could have done in that press conference, was to say that they're getting PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds as an exclusive title. I think that was like their big get, I think.
Oh yeah. And yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited. I mean, I'll suck at that game, but after hearing so much about it and not having a PC, I really want to try it out.
Hell, I'd like to try it with a controller. I think it'd be fun to try with the controller.
Yeah,
I don't know if the PC one supports a controller, to be honest with you. But I've played it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm terrible at it. I've never gotten above like 40. I always die.
So when you say above 40, you start with 100 people, right?
Yeah, usually it's 100 people. And so if you just sit in a corner and don't do anything, a lot of times you'll do okay.
Yes. That's how I play most of those games anyway.
But I always get too antsy. I don't want to sit still, so I just keep going around looking for new gear and stuff. And then I got a car the other day, and I tried to roll somebody over, and they shot me out of the car.
That's amazing. It's amazing that somebody is that good and has that good of aim in a video game. They can shoot you out of a car.
Yeah.
And I've watched.
Maybe they could do it in real life. I'm not going to ask if they can.
Yeah, no, I don't want to know. I don't want to meet them if they can. But yeah, I've watched some of the videos and just been amazed at how good some of those people are at playing that game.
It's a really fun game. A lot of people just like to watch it as well as play it. So I think it's great. And then they have all that stuff with Mixer, with like co-op streaming and stuff. And so if you get like a group of people in a squad together in Battlegrounds, it could be it's smart, but that's like the only thing that they have.
Yeah. I was trying to think of what if they had any other exclusives that
Crackdown 3. That's I see that here. Crackdown 3 is probably like their other big exclusive, but I have no faith in Crackdown at all. No, after Crackdown 2, it showed that like the original Crackdown was at right place, right time game. Co-op gaming on a console really, I don't think was the big thing that it is now.
No, it depends on the game.
Yeah, and the collectathon of the orbs, I don't think people are gonna I don't think that's going to be a great draw anymore.
No.
And I saw some people who have played it and they're like, oh, there's tons of orbs. I'm like, well, okay, that was great several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's going to have the same draw. And Terry Crews kind of, I really like Terry Crews, but having him try to like amp it up just did not do it for me at all.
So right at that point when that started, my cousin came over to the house. It was Sunday afternoon with this rad 68 El Camino that his dad had given him. And so we had to go outside and check out the El Camino with this incredible engine. I could hear him driving up, and I was in the basement. So I did not see the very end of the press conference. So I didn't see Crackdown, and I haven't watched anything. I knew Terry Crews was in it just because I've seen some stills, but I didn't see that. And then there was there one other thing at the very end of the press conference?
I don't remember the order of things.
Because I missed a few things right there at the end because the El Camino, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How often do you get to see an El Camino anymore? That's not, doesn't look like trash.
Minecraft had some neat news, but I don't play Minecraft anymore.
I don't either.
So Sea of Thieves, it could be fun.
I'm excited about that one. I really, really am. It looked really cool, but I got to find people to play that game with.
Yeah.
But I thought the way that they showed the demo and the way that they showed them leaving somebody on the ship and how they were shooting people back and forth through the cannon from the ship to the island was very funny. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of endearing. It's kind of looks like a fun, campy game to a certain degree, but the idea that you can do some co-op gaming with friends, and I don't know, I think that's fun, but I got to find friends. I have no friends. I got one friend. I got two friends. I got you and JJ.
I don't have any friends.
Yeah, and that's it. So
I want to point out one thing. So I don't think anybody's really commenting on this, and I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but I'm going to jump ahead to Sony instead of we don't need to talk about Bethesda because they really didn't have anything to show.
No.
And we can get back to Ubisoft because they actually had some interesting things. But Sony showed Call of Duty as like a big thing at their event, as opposed to typically that's a Microsoft thing, right? I'm not wrong, right?
It hasn't been a Microsoft thing for the last two press conferences because Sony had the exclusive to all of the DLC first for the last game, at least the last game and maybe the last two games.
Oh, really? I thought it was a new thing. Never mind.
No, the last year for E3, that's when they first got they're getting the DLC first. In fact, that's why I own Black Ops. I own the newest Call of Duty game on PS and that PS4, and that's the first game I've ever bought, or the first Call of Duty game I've ever bought for PS4 because they were getting some of the content faster than an Xbox.
So the tide has definitely shifted then if Call of Duty is going there.
Yeah.
And World War II, that looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm usually in those games only for the single player stuff. I don't really hang out in the multiplayer, but it looks like a fun time.
Oh yeah, it looked like a good game, and I'll probably end up getting it. I'm more excited about that than I would be if they went to another Modern Warfare game. I thought the gameplay was getting so fast with the other games that I was having trouble. I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It looks interesting. I'll get it because I always played the single player games, even if I only play just a little bit of the multiplayer. But and it's probably one of the few games other than Overwatch. It's one of the few games where I play multiplayer fairly regularly. But
Gotcha.
Now more Overwatch than anything. So,
but I think Sony in general, they did something similar to what Nintendo did, which was they didn't really talk themselves up a lot. They just basically said, "Hey, we're Sony. Look at all these games."
Yeah,
and
it was interesting.
I think it worked really well for them. Obviously, except for the stupid technical issues that they kept on having.
Yeah, and what I heard later, what Cameron told me was, what were you watching it on?
I was watching it on Twitch.
Yeah, and I was too. Cameron told me that if you were watching it on YouTube, they didn't have any problems at all. So it was a Twitch issue more than it was a Sony issue, which is frustrating for Sony. It's funny because last night when I started watching, I got a rare achievement. Did you get this? Oh, I was watching on Xbox. So I got a rare achievement of watching a Twitch event or a Twitch show with over 100,000 people.
Did you have to join it when it already had 100,000 people in it, or
I was in it before it started, so I don't think so. I think 100,000 people came while I was watching.
I did use the app, the Twitch app on my Xbox to watch it.
Okay.
Because it's so I have it set up that my Xbox is pretty much always on, and if I play my PlayStation, I just go to the live TV function of my Xbox and play through, because I don't have enough HDMI ports on my older TV. So yeah, it's just on usually, and I said, "Oh, I'll just use this app," and I didn't get. I don't think I got the achievement.
You need to check. I bet you did.
I will check.
I hope so.
But
I hope so. Who cares? But the only thing that was interesting about that was that 100,000 people were watching, and that's, I think, was part of the problem why Twitch was having so many issues. And I wish I would have, if I would have known that, I would have switched to YouTube. But
yeah, I didn't. I don't think I even realized it was on YouTube, or else I would have tried that.
I didn't,
because it kept on stuttering and stalled all the time, and eventually the quality degraded to a point where I couldn't even read the text that was on the screen.
Yeah, I never got that bad, but it would stall, especially towards the end during the Spider-Man six.
Yes, over and over again. I'm like, you're completely ruining this. What's supposed to be a really cool thing.
And it was. I'm excited about that game.
It looks good.
Yeah,
Insomniac knows what they're doing. So
I'm really excited about that game.
It looks cool.
It's probably one of my favorite games that I saw the whole, last 3 or 4 days. So
Days Gone looked good. We already mentioned that. The new David Cage looked cool. What is that? Detroit.
Tacoma looks interesting. I don't know what it is, but
which one was that?
Tacoma was that was back toward the Xbox. It's oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember who made it. At one point, it looked like the characters looked like almost like sprites. I mean, they weren't actual people. Did you not see that one?
Maybe I did. I can't remember.
I may have to look.
Is it an Xbox One game?
Yeah. And it looked interesting. I also thought, and maybe I hope I'm not the only person, but I really thought Assassin's Creed looked good too. So yeah, I skipped the last game. I think I might have skipped the last couple of games actually. But for a while I was way into Assassin's Creed, and then I think when oddly enough the pirate one came out, that's kind of like where I was like, this almost feels like it's too overwhelming for me. There's too much here. I love that game.
Even though it was really cool. And then I think I just fell off of the Assassin's Creed bandwagon, because I played all those games to conclusion, and those are long games. So
yeah, they are. I think the last one took me 42 or 44 hours, and that was not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. So I enjoy them all. I enjoy the adventure side of them. The thing I really got excited about with this Assassin's Creed was it seemed more RPG centric, and what I mean by that is when you were so if they shot a character and they were going through the loot for that character, sometimes new weapons would show up, which has never happened before. Usually you just have to buy everything. Yeah. But they were like a better bow.
Just find stuff this time instead.
Which I'm excited about that.
And then what else here? Oh, JJ's mentioning Shadow of the Colossus, which is more than a remaster. He says it's a remaster, but I feel it's more than that from what it looks like, because they already did a remastering of Shadow of the Colossus.
We got into an argument about that last night because they kept saying remake. And the way me and the boys were defining a difference between a remaster and a remake is that they were doing more than just changing the graphics of this game. They were changing some of the game mechanics as well.
Oh, I didn't know that piece. I didn't realize that they were changing mechanics.
I don't think it's. I think it's just playability a little bit. So I don't think it's like, you know.
And I know people are gonna get upset if I say this, but I felt like the original Shadow of the Colossus wasn't very great to play. So
Yeah, I never played it.
It was neat. I played the HD remake briefly. I think I got 3 or 4 colossi into it.
Okay.
And I just felt like it was, I don't know. I know people really like that game, like really like it. But
I know. And I don't know a lot about it, but I'm open to trying it out. So
I'll try. I'll probably get this one again,
Mhm.
even though I already bought it once.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Uncharted.
Yeah.
I will totally, after Uncharted 4, I will definitely go play this Uncharted.
Absolutely. Yeah, the DLC looked interesting. I was already excited about it. I don't know a lot about it, but I know the characters, and any of the characters is good enough for me. So I thought it was interesting that Sony kicked off with DLC. But
wait, hold on. Lost Legacy, I don't think it's DLC.
Lost Legacy, which one was that?
That's Uncharted. It's I think
it's a separate game.
I think it's a completely separate game.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a separate, but so it's a separate game, but not like an expansion. It's a separate.
It's like a standalone
game.
experience.
Okay, interesting. So they kicked off with that, and then next was Horizon, wasn't it?
I think Horizon was right at the beginning too.
Yeah, and so they were starting with some.
So you were probably losing your mind at that point.
I was, because I like both those games, and I like adventure games. So that did it for me right there.
What about Monster Hunter? You're gonna play that one?
That blew all our minds, because I called that one. So the boys were like, "What is that? What are they showing?" I said,
"Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's Monster Hunter, but I don't know why they're showing it here and not at the Nintendo press conference." And sure enough, it was Monster Hunter.
I guess older. There was some older Monster Hunter games on like PlayStation 2, I think. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it was necessarily a Nintendo specific game, but it seems like it's been associated with Nintendo products for quite a while. So
I didn't know that, and so I was kind of surprised. I assumed it was always Nintendo, and so I rather than Sony, and so I don't know. I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan.
I've never played them enough, so I played a little bit of Toukiden 2, which is supposedly like Monster Hunter, and it seemed cool, but again, that's a total time sink into that game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I guess what I don't really enjoy are the I'm trying to think of how you describe it. The different zones, so you fight in a zone or you play in a zone.
Yeah.
And
you got to go hunt monsters, get pieces of monsters, and do stuff with them, right?
I always would get lost going from zone to zone. And so even though you shouldn't, but I would end up one place and think, good grief, how do I get back to where I was? And so I don't know. I played 2 different Monster Hunter games on the 3DS, and I think those are the only ones I've ever played.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not as excited about that one.
But in general, I thought Sony did a really good job.
Just
showing off games. Here's games. Go play them. Come see us at the conference or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go back to like Ubisoft, and like, who'd have thought that we'd actually see Beyond Good and Evil 2 come out ever?
That was the tear-jerking moment of the entire E3. Was you could tell that those guys were touched. They were touched by the audience reaction, and I think they were just excited to be there again. And I thought that what they showed looked pretty cool.
It was all cutscenes, though.
I'm fine with that.
And did you play the original Beyond Good and Evil? So I know they said this is a prequel, but it seemed kind of mature compared to Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, and I thought the same thing. In fact, at first I wasn't sure it was Beyond Good and Evil, even though, I thought, well, this has to be, but it seems like the tone seems completely different than.
Yeah.
But I think what a lot of people forget is that the tone for the original Beyond Good and Evil, even though it was kind of more cartoony looking, blocky looking, it was still a fairly serious game in terms.
It was oppressive. It was,
yeah, exactly.
But it didn't have maybe because no, it was multi-platform back then. I played it. I'm pretty sure I played it on the GameCube. But
I played it on the PlayStation, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you got the pig swearing, and you got blood coming out of his face because he got glass dropped on him.
Yeah.
And it looks cool. I will play that. I worry that it's going to be the type of game where, yes, hardcore fans are going to clamor over, oh man, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is back, and then it's going to be like Mirror's Edge, where it doesn't sell at all, even though it's exactly what the fans wanted.
Well, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, it depends on how it gets marketed, and I hope it's successful, because I enjoyed the first game. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was challenging. I liked the story of it, but it's not for all people. And so
this one's not going to have Jade in it. They specifically said that this is pre-Jade. Jade is not alive yet.
It's that Psychonauts kind of thing. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, I'd love to play another Psychonauts." Well, really, would you? Would you play another Psychonauts if it came out?
They're making one. They're making Psychonauts too.
We'll see, won't we? Because I'm not sure that they will. That people will. And I think if you wait too long, that those characters and that storyline gets lost with a completely different generation of players.
Yep.
Us old guys, we'll try it out. I mean, we'll try out anything.
Like Skull and Bones, you'll try that one out, huh?
I'll try out Skull. That was the one with that's the pirate one, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure what to make of that. Is it just multiplayer?
I couldn't tell.
Because they want you to go sign up and join the crew now for whatever beta it is.
The pirate ships were sweet.
It looks so good for a pirate game. But if it's just multiplayer, you're not going to get me. It's just not going to happen.
It's not my thing. And so if there's not a single player or some co-op stuff, then I'm probably not going to play it. For Honor is a good example. I mean, it didn't grab me. I mean, I'm not going to play that game multiplayer competitively. So, and that game dropped like a rock. Started out well, and that player base has dropped to nothing, because that's all it is. It's multiplayer, competitive multiplayer. And so there's not really a player base there anymore. And if that Skull and Bones, is that the name of it?
Skull and Bones.
Yeah. Skull and Bones does the same thing. There won't be a player, but you'll be out there fishing off the side of your pirate ship, trying to catch anything. A cold, even. You get that at cold. You could catch a cold.
I understood. Just like if you're going to play that, there's a cold, I don't know, Steep.
Oh my gosh, yes. Actually, I didn't play Steep either, and which is weird, because I think I've played every other snowboarding, skiing game that's ever come out, and I didn't get Steep.
So what I think I was distracted when Steep was on. What is the Olympic aspect? Is Steep's already out, right? It's a game that exists now. Is the Olympics thing like an expansion for it or something?
No, it didn't do much for. I don't even know why they're still supporting it. I mean, it's a fine game. It's a good game.
Pretty nice.
It does. It's an interesting game. It's probably one of the best snowboarding games that have come out. What was the one? Microsoft's. Oh my gosh, I can't remember Microsoft had their own version of it. Yes, Amped and Amped 2. And that was interesting too, but this one looks better, and it is better. I played the beta, and I played a little bit of it. I think I rented it.
I mean, it was always about SSX for me with snow games.
Well, SSX was a different kind of snowboarding game, a crazy snowboarding game. And this is not like that. But
this seems more grounded in reality for sure.
Yeah, the reality that you and I face every day when we snowboard
in 90-degree weather.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. before we finish, are we gonna talk about Nintendo before this night's over?
Well, I mean, Ubisoft. We can roll right in because Ubisoft and Nintendo teamed up. So
Oh yes, that's a good
that's
transition.
so that game looks way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Is it Rabbids plus? No, it's the other way. It's Mario plus Rabbids
Yeah.
Kingdom Battle.
Yes.
And I really, really actually found myself smiling and enjoying what I was looking at. And then they said, "Oh, it's a tactics game," and then I said, "Ah, you kind of lost me."
Yeah, and it lost me a little bit, but I like what they're doing with it. I mean, I'm not a big tactics fan, but it looked fun enough that I'm willing to give it a shot. So I like that combination of those two, the Mario world and the Rabbids world. I think it sounds fun. I think it'll be interesting.
I did not expect to be interested at all in that game, but
that game comes out. It's like the end of August, so it's not far away.
Yeah,
that game comes out basically in the summer, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll play it. And so Nintendo did their Treehouse thing again today. Their direct,
real short, less than a half hour long.
Yeah, it was 30 minutes long. Yeah, and it just kind of abruptly ended. And it's funny that I read and then heard some of my friends saying that was the best press conference of all of them. I don't know why they said that. Yeah,
it was fine. It was fine. People like that they showed Metroid, I think, or they showed a logo.
Yeah, people freaked out about a logo.
I gotta be. I hate to be. No, I don't. I'm an older man now, right? So I can be grumpy if I want.
Oh, yeah.
Metroid Prime games never rang with me. Like I played the first one for quite a while, and I never beat it. It just wasn't.
Now, see, I played a Metroid Prime game on the original Nintendo
GameCube. That was a GameCube game.
Yeah, well, I played, but I'm talking about the side-scrolling ones.
Oh yeah, no. So I mean, that's not Prime though. Metroid.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Metroid versus Metroid Prime. Like Metroid Prime is the first-person Metroid games.
Yeah, but I was thinking. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead to the surprise 3DS game.
Oh yes, that's that I'm more interested in.
I am too. In fact, I'll dust off my 3DS and charge it up again just to play that game. And that comes out early September. So yeah, I'm excited about that one. And I finished a Metroid game, and I'm trying to remember what platform I played it on.
NES.
Yeah, no, it was a
Super Nintendo.
It was a handheld. There was
Zero?
Maybe, yeah. But I finished. Was there one on the DS before there was?
I mean, there was one recently, wasn't it? Like some Metroid Hero, like 4-player game.
I didn't know. It wasn't that one. It's been a while. I know which one you're talking about. That one didn't do so hot. This was more of a traditional Nintendo or Metroid side-scrolling game. And I remember
there was one on I think the Wii that wasn't a typical Metroid game either. Oh, I can't even think of that.
I played this one in an airport, so I'm thinking it was on like a Nintendo DS or something.
JJ's shouting at the top of his lungs, Fusion.
Yes.
Metroid Fusion.
Yes. I think that's the one. So
or Zero Mission.
Yeah. And I loved it. And
Mother M, that's the one I'm thinking of. Thank you.
Yes. I had a lot of fun playing it. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think, more than I would be a Metroid 4 game. So, or Metroid Prime game. So.
Metroid Prime 4 doesn't interest me as much as, I mean, I believe this is just Metroid 2, which was a Game Boy game, and they remade it into 3DS World. But I don't think I've ever played Metroid 2, so I'll play it. I will go for that one.
So I know that came after the Direct. It was kind of a surprise announcement. During the Direct, I'm trying to think of what I saw that got me really excited. I mean, Mario looks interesting. I'm excited about playing that. I'll probably get Skyrim again for the third time. I think it'll be the third or fourth time that I've gotten it. But I'm interested in playing it on the Switch. And this weekend, if you want to come to Columbia, if JJ wants to come to Columbia, you East Coast guys, we are having an arms tournament here.
Oh
yeah. I have fluorescent yellow, green, whatever color that is.
Oh, you got the yellow ones?
They're coming.
I want those. I actually want those.
I think they look cool. And my copy of Arms will be here. I hope they all show up on Friday. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I played the
JJ says he's getting Arms, so you guys can fight online.
Okay, good. We'll fight online. We played Arms last Saturday, I think was, or no, the Saturday before maybe, was when they had the kind of the multiplayer stuff, the beta test, and had a lot of fun. And it was smooth, and the way that they do the moving from kind of battle room to battle room was interesting. So I'm excited about that one.
Nintendo didn't show that. They kind of showed some stuff. Rocket League is going to be on Nintendo Switch.
I'll buy it again for the third time.
Xenoblade Chronicles was one of them, I think. But they showed Kirby and Yoshi.
Yeah,
so those could be cool.
Yeah, I haven't played a decent Kirby or Yoshi game in a long time. There have been some 3DS attempts. There was one Wii U attempt.
I liked Kirby's Epic Yarn. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it looked good. I never played it, but it looked good. And this Yoshi game looked interesting. Kind of reminded me of the PlayStation kind of creation game, the side-scrolling game that there were
Little Big Planet.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of Little Big Planet. Just kind of the look of it. So we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, Odyssey was the top. Right after I saw that, I said, all right, I guess I'll go pre-order that one too.
Yeah.
Even though like I don't pre-order games much anymore. It's just not something I do, but that can come to my house and I will be happy with it.
Yeah, that looks solid. In fact, when I saw you tweet that, I was like, yeah, I should probably do that too. That's a pretty solid game. I'm sure I'll be playing that one. So, but first I got to finish Zelda. So good grief. I'm trying.
Zelda.
I like it, but my issue has always been, and I'm trying to get past this. In my lifetime, I tend to gravitate towards the PS4 or gravitate towards the Xbox for the games I play. Now, I've never had a console as flexible as the Switch, and so I would tend to use that as I think a lot of the same way that JJ used it, is a console that I would play on the sofa away from my television or up in bed or at work because I could. And so I need to get over just playing it that way and also be able to play it in its other mode on my television. And I think I would be more apt to finish that game, a game like Zelda.
That's a good point. Yeah, I leave it docked. My Switch, I leave it docked way more than I probably should. If I took it out and actually had it next to me, I think I'd just pick it up and instead of looking at my phone and Twitter or whatever, I'd probably play the Switch instead.
I take it to work, and when I have time during lunch, sometimes I'll play it, but it doesn't happen as often as I would like. So, but I have the ability to do that, and that's what I like about it. So
is that it? Is that E3?
It's over. Let's go to bed.
I don't think there's anything else.
I think there's still a few surprises out there. Shadows of Mordor looks cool.
I hope that Shadow. That's Shadow of War.
Shadow of War, yeah.
The name of it, Shadow of War.
I think that looks good.
I hope it's a better game. Like the original game was a cool. I may have even said this on the show. It was really cool. They had some nice systems with the whole Nemesis system in place, but that's all that game was. It was not anything more than that. So if they take that and actually apply a good game on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be really successful for me personally.
No,
But I know a ton of people who like the original.
I liked it all right, but I think you and I have the same opinion of it, and so I'm hoping that there's more to it than the last time. So yeah, I'm with you there. And I think there's still a few things. I mean, there's some games that we've heard about but haven't seen, but I think they're going to show up tomorrow on some of the live streams. Nintendo has 2 more live streams, so there may be a few other things out there that we haven't seen. Of course, we've seen 90% of it, 95% of it, but
yeah. I thought Nintendo's was like focused on specific games, like they were doing like a Splatoon 2 thing and an ARMS thing.
They said there are going to be some other surprises throughout the week, so
okay.
I'm holding them to it, and if I don't get it, then I'm
Animal Crossing.
No, I don't think. I mean, as much as everybody would love to see it, I don't think that's going to happen. I could eat my words by the end of the week, but I doubt it.
You gotta put some beer on them.
Yeah,
on those pour the beer on the words,
I will, and I'm going to eat them like a turkey leg. The turkey leg covered in beer. Like this.
JJ says, let's finish it out. He says he wants to know what From Software is doing on the Switch.
Oh,
I didn't know if From Software is doing anything on the Switch.
I hadn't heard that either. I don't know.
I think I'm just going to report that comment to the moderator and tell him to. I'm just kidding.
No,
I am the moderator.
Yeah, you are. You can do whatever you want. It was a good it's been a good conference so far. I love E3. I'm glad that my son and his friends get excited about E3. I'm glad that we have the ability to stream these press conferences now.
Did you see? So I mean, we're running way over our normal hour time. I'm sleepy.
Come on, Grandpa, you can do it.
But did you see somebody took a picture of the line to get into E3?
I heard about it, but yeah, I heard it was crazy.
Absurd. And they had to open the show 15 minutes early for that crowd because it was the line was too long. And I think like the police or the firemen were saying, you can't have these people out here. It is too dangerous.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and so I'll be interested to hear how the general public reacted to E3. And if they enjoyed it, if they thought it was worth their money, along with the journalists who have to interact with the general public more than they have before.
I saw a tweet by Jeff Gerstmann who basically said that they did not change E3 at all to accommodate all these people from the public. So I'm sure they're going to have some great stories on Giant Bomb.
Yeah, they're not going to be very happy, and understandably, I mean, you have to accommodate both of those audiences if you're going to open it up to the public. And I get that. I mean, those guys go there, that's a job for them. Yep. And they're trying to report on the industry. And we liked listening to their reports on the industry. But if you're going to open it up to the general public, you have to be able to accommodate both of those groups of people. So, but what do I know? I'm just some guy.
Good luck to them. Good luck.
Yeah. Just a guy sitting in a room with a laptop in mid-Missouri who talking about games.
I hope I get a thunderstorm tonight. That's what I hope.
Me too. I don't know why, but I hope you get one too. If that's what you want, that's what I want for you.
It is what I want. We got to talk again sooner than I think we were going to talk last week, and then we both realized, I think, at the same time, E3. We should probably talk after E3.
Yeah, it makes more sense, and I'm glad we did, because every year, and in fact, if we never did another show, which I hope we do many other shows, but if we never did another show, I would hope every year we would meet up to talk about E3, because it's hard to.
It's a fun event to watch and to just to observe and to talk about.
Yeah, and it's not the kind of thing where we can sit on the sofa and watch like a game and the game's over and then we can talk about it. It lasts for 4 or 5 days, and so it helps to let all of that kind of go by. We're able to digest it and then kind of talk a little bit about it, because otherwise I just talk to myself, and that's embarrassing.
It's okay. We all do it.
Okay, but I'm sitting there talking to myself about games, and my family's like, why is he's talking to himself, and we don't even know what he's talking about. So, except for my son and his friends. So
that's it. And that's it. So thank you, Todd. Thanks, JJ, for watching. We had
Yes.
some other viewers on there too. Thank you for jumping in but not talking. You probably thought that I couldn't read your words because the past times I haven't been able to read your words, but this time I figured it out. I figured it out this time.
You can see the words, and then you share them with me, and I appreciate that.
He says, JJ says, call me Todd, we'll talk. So,
Okay. Thanks, JJ.
That's his last comment.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody who listens to us, Babylon. We enjoy talking to each other. So,
and I appreciate you, Todd.
You too, Jim. Boop, boop, doop, doop. So no, it's fun. I'm always up for talking about games. No matter how old I get, I still enjoy the hobby. I still enjoy the industry. I think it's fascinating every year, and it's an industry that always changes. And so that's why I think it's so much fun to still pay attention to what's happening.
And it's a great year, right? This year, perfect example. A great year for games.
It is.
And there's
it
so
is.
many good things out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good night, Todd. Thank you.
Good night, Jim. We'll talk again soon, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
All
okay.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. High fives. High five, brother.